Boosting, I'm leveling up. We got vibes and we're living it up. It's all good, baby. I was struggling, but now I'm the one. I got plans and they need to get done. It's all good, baby. Different with this or they're different to us.
Yes, guys, I'm Sag. Welcome back to Ace Podcast Nation. We're here for another episode of My Story. It's a special part 2 because this is the first episode of Series 6, I think. And part 2 with Rapper MC, Man of the People, Ez Rah. How are you, my friend? Welcome
good,
back.
Thank you. How are you?
No, man, it's good. It's all good. I'm glad to have you back, mate, because I was just saying then, like, we had a good convo, and we kind of just ran out of time, really, just because of the time of day and that. So we're a bit earlier today, so we got a nice, good sort of 90 minutes to have a good chat. So don't want to try our best not to cover the same ground, but we'll see, you know, just where it goes. But so I was thinking this morning, and because I was talking to my mate last night, and I was talking about, like, I hadn't spoken to him for a few years, and we were just talking about some of the mad stuff we'd seen, just partying and that. And so I was wondering, like, what's the maddest or the funniest thing you've seen, just generally? Don't have to be in music, just something you can't believe your eyes.
I like that.
Why not? Start with a bang.
I don't know, man. I've seen some mad stuff though. Like, it's hard. Give me an example of
So
something.
I seen a guy.
I'll bounce it back.
I seen a guy, right? We were in a pub, and like the bar's sort of there, and it sort of curls around, and then there's on the wall, but there's a massive mirror, and it's quite busy. Like, everyone's getting absolutely shit faced, load of beer. I think it was like a Sunday or something, so there's been like multiple football matches on. People have been in there all day, and I seen a guy, and he's like stood at the bar, clearly like steadying himself a bit, but still knocking him back, and he's looking at the mirror, and you could see him just. We're like at the end of the barber here, and he's just looking up at the mirror, staring, and then like going back, and he's just off his rocker, like, and he ends up he like slams his drink down, so it's like everything sort of stops, doesn't it? Because there's only like a pub and not like a club or anything, or like there was maybe a bit of music on or TV or whatever, and he's like slammed his drink down, so everyone sort of looked, and he's like marched over to the mirror as if he's going to go and have a fight with someone or like start a fight, and then he's got to like the mirror and gone, he's just like swung out the door and gone out, and he went straight out, and then straight out the fire exit, and you just seen him like just walking fast up down the car park, down the hill, and it was just like,
yeah, time to go home. Time to go home.
Starting fighting mirrors, man.
I seen someone get tasered in a house party. I don't know where the taser come from or why there was a taser.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mate insisted that someone tased him with it. Someone pulled it out as like a joke. It wasn't like a taser like what the police got, where it sends the strings in it.
Yeah. Like the one which does the electrical current.
You press it onto yourself, and it was a big old taser. And my mate was like, "Fucking tase me then." Pulled his sleeve up. Oh, let's have it then. Yeah, that was a wild one.
Was he like twitching on the floor by the end of it, or was it more of like a there you go?
It was neither.
He was like somewhere in the
middle.
They
done him, and like they had his arm there, and they done it on him, and they held it there, but it wasn't a whole. It wasn't like a whole body thing. He just went and then pulled away.
Wouldn't be doing it, mate. Did you have a go?
No, I didn't. I'm not stupid enough. There's certain levels of. There's certain levels with me. After being a right. I'm not saying I would never have done something stupid like that when I was younger, but in that scenario, definitely not, right? Because this isn't the time and the place to be doing those things. Yeah, I've always been someone who believes.
Where was it then?
I believe in the time and the place.
Was it like in the office?
Yeah, I'm not even sure we were invited to that party.
Is it?
I'm not even sure that we were supposed to be there.
Yeah,
like, we just ended up as part of it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you're stragglers, it makes
you've got to behave, haven't you? Really, to a certain degree.
It depends. It depends where you are and who you're with. And I've always said this about going to parties. Yeah, if you come with me.
Yeah.
Then you now represent me as a result.
Yeah, of course.
So now, if you've come with me and you start acting up, that reflects badly on me, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always been aware of that when people bring me somewhere as well.
Yeah, I think that's. I remember going to house parties like when we was like young, like 16, 17 or whatever, where you can't really get in the pubs, and some of the house parties you just go to mental, like people, these stupid people, like, you know, do you remember that like meme of the Australian guy who had. So he had a house party where his parents were away, like, and he put it on like Facebook or something, and like literally thousands of people come to his parents' house, trashed it or whatever, and they interviewed him on the news, and the woman has gone, like the newsreader or whatever has gone to him, so have you learned your lesson, would you do it again? And he's like, no, I'm going to have a party like this was the best party ever, like, you know. Sure, his parents didn't see it, but like I remember going to house parties sometimes, and there'd always be like kids from different areas because people find out, don't they? And these stupid people would have like they'd advertise that they got a free house and a house party, like, and it would just be kids from all over Cardiff come in, and people just be walking out with like TVs and stereos and that.
Yeah, we've all seen that.
Like I never was like I had some house parties in my house, like, but never stupid enough to like tell the world, tell your whole year, like, or whatever.
That's not my type of thing. I think when I was in school times, I didn't really get invited to many house parties anyway because I was a bit wild anyway. So I don't think people really trusted that I could go there and be trusted, sort of thing. And I don't think at that age I was particularly interested anyway. Like I wasn't really like I never felt no type of way about it, and I didn't care. Like whereas once I got older, 16, 17, going to college, then I started going and experiencing them things and drinking a bit more, I guess. So like I think back them times I smoked weed, so I don't smoke weed anymore, but I used to smoke weed like that. So when I was in school and it's a Friday night and everyone's in the park drinking, I was out smoking spliff. I wasn't even in the house, I might have been there in the park, but now what I'm seeing is you lot throwing up, girls pissing themselves, like people fighting, like the results of the alcohol, you're watching it going, I'm alright by you, and I was quite comfortable in that opinion. And as much as people didn't share it, I was comfortable within it. And then I think when I got a bit older and I finally had a drink, I was like, oh no, I get it.
Like that was the thing. It was weird. Like I said to you last time, like I used to smoke a lot of weed, and then I stopped because I had that bad trip when I was got lost up at Garth, whatever. But like I kind of naturally then, I think it was probably around like 17, 18, so I was able to start drinking and going to the pub anyway without the hassle of like fake IDs or whatever. And like drinking was just a natural thing for me.
Drinking was standard, I think.
If you're quite shy, like I was quite awkward, and I think I get the impression at certain points you were quite awkward, but attention seeker as well. So like, what, I don't know, do you reckon alcohol helped you like open up?
No,
you was already doing it, is it?
I think you've got me wrong. I think I honestly don't think that anxiety or awkwardness is something really
that you felt
I've ever had.
Not at all.
Like obviously we all have things that make us anxious, or we all have things that where we have a little moment of anxiety. But in terms of someone who isn't awkward,
I was saying that. I remember that you
or,
said it's because it's 2 weeks ago. Now. You said like you dressed in bright clothes, like you were quite happy to have the attention.
Yeah, no, confidently, and like I didn't, and I seeked it. I had. Do you know what? Since that, I had a conversation with my friend the other day, and I don't know if I said it in the last podcast, but I said to my friend the other day, because they were a lot like me. They were attention seeker when they were younger, and I hadn't seen them for a little while. I went to the pub with them the other day, and like both of us are talking, and the whole conversation is different to what it was. Do you know what I mean? And it was good. It was older. It was adult. It was proper, and I said to him, I said, listen, this is sick. I said, now all that attention seeking what I was on, I don't feel the need. But I said, you give me, and like everyone, like there was a few other people there, they all laughed, and I'm like, the thing is, I don't go seeking attention. Not in the same way. It's not acting out to get a bit of attention. But now it's like I like having a chat and that. So if having a conversation means that in that moment I'm the centre of attention, that's different to attention seeking. You see what I'm saying? And so that's like, I'm quite happy to sit back. I don't need it on me all the time. I don't need to go out of my way to do things to get people paying attention to me. Do you know what I mean? Whereas at one time I very much hadn't got out of my system. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone will get to that age where you'll get that attention seeking out of your system. Do you know what I mean? And I think some girls cry and cause a drama. And some of the boys or people dress in a type of way, or some people do
fighting and
like whatever it is that people do to do it, people will do it. Do you know what I mean? And I was saying someone who did it.
Like the way that you liked to seek attention when you were younger, do you reckon you ever like alienated people who you like were friends with or you knew or whatever?
That'd have to be their business, isn't it? Do you know what it is? It's like I've never been told that I did. I've been told. There was a time where I went through a couple of years where I was chilling out a bit more. Like when you get to like 21, and people would say, like, there are people that I've known for years now, and they finally felt comfortable enough to kind of tell me their first opinions of me, sort of thing, and they were like, honestly, like when I first met you when we were 16, like you made me feel so uncomfortable. Like I didn't know how to maneuver around you. I didn't know, like and it's not because I was hostile or because I was quick and I was sharp and I would make a joke with someone, but not in a it wasn't malicious or nasty. It was just jokey. But people, you know, when people aren't as confident to respond to it as quickly, and then maybe they're a bit more.
They don't know how to take it.
People don't know how to take that. Yeah. So like people, like I've had conversations with people where they said to me like, now I completely get you and understand, but at the one time, I didn't want to be around you. I knew that you were gonna make it, and I didn't know how to look like that. Do you know what I mean? And and I think
it's interesting, isn't it? Because
the reason it's interesting. Sorry to cut you off. The reason it's interesting, and just to finish that off, is that I never saw myself like that. Yeah. So I wasn't never out to
make people feel small.
Do you know what I mean? Like, humiliate people like that. It was just, I thought I was funny and trying to have a laugh. Like, and I take it as good as I give it and always have. And especially being someone who's jokey, the moment they got an opportunity to make a joke, I mean, people leap to that. And I've always known that about myself, and I can accept that and comfortable with that. It doesn't upset me or offend me, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the other thing as well, I suppose, like if you're naturally like that, it can also be the way to bring someone in. If you're in like a little group and someone's a bit quiet or whatever, making a joke or like taking a piss a bit can be a way to like bring them into the conversation or to like include them as well.
If there's one thing that gives me anxiety, it's someone quiet in the corner who I don't know.
Yeah,
that's I've been like that since I was young. Yeah, if you're with us, if we're, how can I word it? If we're in a pub, and there's 5 people here that I know and that all know each other, and you're the odd one out. Yeah, or you might know 3 of those people, but you don't know 2 of those people. Yeah, and for that reason, you're not going to say nothing. Sit quiet. What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
If you're going to come and sit at the table, you're more than welcome to come and sit at the table. Get involved. And if it will start with me trying to get you involved.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then I'll give up on that and I'll never look at you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because now I've tried to pull you in. Like these days, I do it in a different way to what I did when I was younger. Now I just straight up ask you how you are and do that. Yeah. And so, if I'm doing that and I'm trying and it feels like pulling teeth, then I give up. And then I'm not interested no more because you're not brought nothing to my table. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think don't come to the pub then.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's like,
what are you here for then?
But then, I suppose like, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because like I said last time, like, I got to a point with my drinking where I would go like 1 or 2 ways, so I'd have like 5 or 6 pints, and then I would literally, it would be like a split road. I was either going to go and I'd be miserable and want to just sit on my own fucking whatever, or I'd be like, just go fucking mental and have a great night and whatever. And it was just like a split thing, and it was just like,
I think everyone goes through that period though. I think when people have maybe problems with their drink, or it's been that they're starting to have more of an issue with their drinking, they're drinking for different reasons. That's more common than not. Do you know what I mean? And I think for people who didn't see the last pod, I'm sure that I'm not the party boy like that no more. Like, I'll go and have a laugh in the pub and that still, but it's not the same. But yeah, I think when I was younger, I was definitely someone who had nights where I didn't want to be there, but I also didn't want to be not there.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's that weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, like we talked about before, like you weren't. I think I asked you if you got into much trouble, like as a teenager, and you didn't get into a great deal of trouble. You was more like attention than.
Yeah, I was just a joker.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's always been about having a laugh. Yeah, it's never been about nothing else. I just want to go out, have fun. Yeah, like I think. Yeah, I just gotta have fun, bruv. Yeah,
smile,
like people
enjoy things.
Smile and enjoy things, and sometimes people, especially road man, they wanna act like, "Oh, he's just a joker. He can." Yeah, girls used to be like, "Oh, he's so funny." Yeah, and then 6 months later, you can't take nothing serious. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I know that. So like, yeah, the you know, I've never been ashamed of being me or being, I've always felt comfortable in my skin, and I know that actually people who are like me draw to me. Yeah, like we connect well. Yeah, because I'm not the only person who likes to have fun. Yeah, and whatever that looks like, you know, people have fun in different ways. Yeah, the way that I enjoy myself now, the way that I used to, are different. But in terms of jokes, we can all make jokes. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my hobbies might have changed, or my view on the world might have changed, or whatever. But in terms of having fun and being here and having a chat and getting to know people, I still enjoy that, and I think I will always enjoy that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's meeting, like, that's just me. It's meeting new people and then like new experiences and that.
Like I'm definitely an energy bouncer. Yeah, you bring an energy around me, and I'll feel that energy, and I'll bounce it back to you. So if you're happy, I'm happy. If you're not so happy, I'm gonna ask you why, and I'm gonna bounce that energy. I'm gonna sense it, yeah. And like sometimes that makes me a detriment because people don't want to talk about it. They want to be around someone who's happy, yeah. But because you haven't brought someone else in the situation who's happy, I'm not bouncing your energy, and we gotta talk about it. You know, like I'm someone who's
there,
I'm an energy bouncer, and because I can feel it, you're not giving me happy vibes right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
you can ask about it.
I'm gonna address it. I'm someone who addresses things very much.
Do you reckon being comfortable in like being as comfortable, because you seem really comfortable in yourself, like, and confident in like who you are, and like, do you think that comes from, like you said, like your parents had quite a wide range of music and stuff like that, and also I think you said you've done like a bit of, like you travelled about a bit, didn't you?
I travelled about
as a kid, like.
So I think it's all of those things. I think, how do I word it? I think it's part of something that both my parents have. They're both quite comfortable in who they are, and they're both quite comfortable to make it uncomfortable. I think they taught me to be me in whatever that looks like. So they were never worried about what I was like, as long as I was like me. That was definitely encouraged in my household. They took me around to see the world and learn new things in situations where if you feel comfortable in the UK, sometimes that situation is going to be skin crawling. Do you know what I mean? And so I did that at 7. Do you know what I mean? So now it's a bit like I come back to the UK and nothing's really like that.
Yeah,
do you know
nothing's as daunting.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? I just moved away to a language that I don't even speak. And now I'm coming back, and it's not that intimidating.
What's harder than that, really, is it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
big time.
And it's like, you know, I think those type of things have definitely had effects on me. Yeah. I think I'm someone who's never lived in one place for more than 5 years. Yeah, in one house or like so I think moving around a lot, I've always been someone who needs to meet new people. Does that make sense? I've never been somewhere long enough that, like, I know those people who are like, I grew up with him. I don't grow up with no one. I grew up with my little brother. That's the only person I grew up with, my mum and my dad. I didn't grow up with no one else. Like, and like, you know, I think I don't have this friendship. So people are like, I grew up with him. Like, we've known each other since kids. Like, I don't have a childhood friend. Do you know what I mean? But I have friends who I've known years now in Cardiff. Like, but in terms of, there's no friendship longer than that. Do you know what I mean? Basically since I left school. Because like the people I was friends with in school, like, don't get me wrong, there's still people who I knew in school. If I see them, I'll spur them, chat to them, how are you? Like, I like them, and they're my friends to a point. But they're not like my friends. I'm gonna phone them and say like, So it's not like, even my friends who were my daily friends, like, I met after school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you mentioned your brother then? Like, what's your relationship like with him? What was you like with him growing up as well?
He was my best mate. Like, I mean, I understand, he's my macker. Like, the thing with me and my brother is like,
how many years between you?
2.
Yeah, so it's
or like a year and a half, if we were being exact. So 2 years at school, a year and a half between us. So it's not that different. So like, you know, I was just I'm the oldest. So I was the big brother as well. So my brother is different to me. He's not as, he's chatty when he wants to be, but he's more likely to be the one in the pub who's quiet. When all his friends are being loud. He's more likely to be, and so like, I don't know where those differences come from. We're just different. We're like,
it's weird, isn't it? How like you can be in the same kind of situations and grow up in like the same place and whatever, and same parents and whatever. Everything's the same, but you're just different. Like I said, I got 3 teenage boys now, 18, 16, and 14, and they couldn't be more different, but also kind of the same as well.
Kind of the same. The thing is, once my brother starts talking, he's so much like me. Do you know what I mean? Like, so much like me. And like, he
just takes him a bit to get going, does it?
Nah, it's not even how I'd word it. I just think he's more likely to wait until he snaps. I'm more like, if there's something, let's use this as an example of things we don't like, So if I'm in a room and someone says something that I don't like, I'm more likely to laugh at the fact that I didn't like it and make a joke about it, and address it at the time and just write it off because it don't matter. But my brother is more likely to sit there and go, oh, is that what you said? Go on and keep talking. And he'll let that, and then he'll go, alright then, and then just eat it up. On a different way. Whereas me, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, alright mate, like, get in, well, keep the conversation rolling away from that. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of, I think people are different, and me and my brother are different. But my brother's my mucker, and he's always been my mucker.
I find it really interesting, like talking to you about, or just anyone talking about like situations and conversations, because I do feel like exactly that. Like people react to things differently. They feel different, but they could be in the same situation, like the same room, same pub, same table, and they can feel a whole different way. And I find it really interesting. But also, I do feel like sometimes I look at, like, we talked a little bit before about like TikTok and the attention spans and stuff. Like, but I feel like conversation is like people are losing the ability to just be able to go to a stranger. "Hi mate, you right? How are you? What are you doing?" And be able to hold a conversation with someone you've never met before, because whether you need to or you just want to. It's weird. Like, and strange to say, like, but part of that to me, a lot of the sort of skills, if you like, or my ability to do that came from going to the pub a lot. And it sounds a bit weird, like, but because so I used to drink in a pub, which like I'd ride a train station. You had the train station, you had to walk up the hill, you had to walk past the pub to get anywhere. So like I'd get off, before I was driving, I'd get off a train from work, and it was like, oh, I may as well go in the pub. You just go in there, and there's pretty much a guarantee there would be someone in there you knew, but it wouldn't necessarily be one of your mates. So you'd always end up talking to different people, and like I always found it interesting. Like,
I enjoy it. I can't help myself, but if I could be on a train,
just start talking to people.
Yeah, I could be on a train and like sat in a 4-seater. How about this then? I mean, I'm coming back. My brother lives in Bristol, so I'd been. I'd gone to see my brother, and I'd had a few drinks before I got on the train. And I guess on the train, and I'm sat in like, there's like the seats opposite each other facing. So this woman comes on. I'm sat there, I'm like, I hadn't thought about someone else is now going to sit there,
Yeah.
This woman come on, she had a big suitcase and that. Don't mind if I sit here. Carry on, don't worry, So she sits down. She had in her hand, she had an empty bottle of wine. And in a bag, she had an unopened bottle of wine, So she sat there. She's been travelling from far anyway. She was carrying on, going somewhere out there, So she has done this bottle of wine and seemingly some others, who knows how many bottles of wine she'd had by the time she got on that train. She's steaming, but she's chatting, I'm chatting, and like the two of us are back and forth, and I just goes, so what are you gonna pop the wine open then? And she's like, what? And I'm like, go on and share the wine then. So she offers this other bottle of wine, and I end up sitting with this random woman just passing this bottle between us. Like, I don't think there's many people, even in my friendship group, who would tell her, go on, open your wine then, do you know what I mean?
I think you definitely had to have a couple before. I could see myself getting in that situation, but I'd have to be like,
I wouldn't piss
already.
I wouldn't really
I'd
piss
have to
though,
be.
do you know what I mean? I think I'm just someone who just finds that funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's funny to me, and I'll get involved, do you know what I mean? Like, as simple as that. I think when it comes to my brother, you said something a minute ago about the way that people aren't capable of speaking to people they don't know, sort of thing. Like my brother, he might be seemingly quiet, but when he needs to speak to someone, he has no problem speaking to someone. Like, he doesn't struggle with it. Like when he opens his mouth, he just would rather not bother. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, and he's friendly. He's got mates, like, do you know what I mean? It's not like you don't know anyone or chat to no one, but like same time, he's more likely to sit on a train and not chat to no one. Do you know what I mean?
I understand that, like, fully, because I think especially as I got older, like, I'm less concerned with like what other people think of me. So my friendship group has got smaller and smaller and smaller as I got older.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just
same with me, like, but then I'm still bubbly and chatty anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? I think like these days I'm less bubbly and chatty. In like, we're here on a podcast chatting, and so naturally I'm going to seem more chatty than necessarily I am. But I am chatty, and I will always be chatty, and I know that about myself. And I'm probably, everyone's always said I'm a bit ADHD, and who knows? So it's one of those ones where it's like, I think my brother doesn't share that trait, but he is a good man, and he knows exactly how to speak to who, how. Do you know what I mean? And that's just something that, as long as you got that, it doesn't matter if you're bubbly like me. If you can do that and you can speak to who, how you have to, then you're good, and you'll always be good. It doesn't matter if you choose to sit quiet on the table, because when someone like me addresses you, you know how to speak to me, how. Do you know what I mean? And that's good.
I think that's like, to me, that's like such an important life skill, isn't it? Even if I wasn't doing podcasts where I speak to all sorts of different people, so you've got to be able to like speak to people and relate to people and whatever. But like, I just think it's such an important skill to be able to just like, I don't know, if you're speaking to like a a bank manager or whatever, or a mate, or just people you haven't met. You've got to have that ability. And like I just even looking at my own kids, and I seeing like I'm lucky, and especially the older two, they can do it. But I look at the younger one sometimes, and I think he does struggle with it. Like he finds it. He goes very quiet, and he finds it easier to sort of almost like not speak through me, but like if we're even if it's just me and him and like his teacher or something, he'd rather me speak. Whereas the other two will be like, no, this is this, and this happened this way, and like they'll speak for himself. And I would be lying if I said it didn't worry me a little bit. But then I also look at myself at that age and think,
that's it. Once you
I
get
didn't want to
older,
speak to no one at that time. So,
well, you know, as you get older, think about it. You're gonna get to an age you might go uni, move away, and you'll be forced to be on his own. Do you know them sort of things? Like, we get to an age where you go when you will, like you go college, you gotta leave the people you knew in school, and now you gotta go college and meet a new group. Like those things, even if people haven't developed it up till then, they'll develop it or learn to them times. Do you know what I mean? Find their place in the world. Everyone will find their place in the world. Yeah, you kind of forced to.
Absolutely.
You don't even got really a choice. Do you know what I mean? So it works like that. And we live in a city. I always think about the kids who live in the countryside, who haven't been forced to be around people like that. Do you know what I mean? And if they naturally don't have that chattiness, it's difficult. It's much more difficult to develop it at that older age.
I remember like people coming to Cardiff from like really small villages and stuff, like for uni and that, and we'd like be speaking to them, and they were like they'd go wild in like after, not even in Freshers Week, but like, so we'd all go out like Freshers Week in Cardiff and that, and meet all the new people and that, and all the new girls and whatever, and like you'd meet these kids and they'd never seen anything like it, so they just had gone from like a really quiet village, nothing wrong with that. But like they then get to like a big city and they would just go nuts like for like 6 months, first 6 months of uni.
Now they got everything at their fingertips, and now they got access to things and people what they never had. And like you go on Tinder up them ways, you got to put your location far. Like, you know what I mean? You go to Cardiff, it ain't got to be that far. You know what I'm saying? Your radius is not that big, so that's you know, them sort of things make a difference. You know, now they got access to people on the street they haven't had access to previously, and those sort of things. Do you know what I mean? It all makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know,
I forget. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I am 24. I'm about to turn 25.
Yeah. So you have grown up in like the Tinder generation, really, haven't you? Or have you just missed it?
No, I haven't missed it. It's very much in my age group. It's not something that I choose to.
No.
I use this example then. It's not.
No. It was just like because it interests me because I've never
because there's not something
never used it. I've been with my missus 20 years.
I think it's not missed me at all. It's definitely in my generation. I think it's in people older than me as well. And I think you know everyone got a smartphone now. So it's there. So in a sense, everyone's in that generation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like So it's weird. You know, before Tinder, there was plenty of fish or
Bumble and all sorts
Bumble,
of shit.
and there's been loads of dating websites over the years from the start of the internet, really. So I guess it's one of those ones where like I think for me, I do better. I know it's not for me. I'm better in person. I meet someone, smile with them, laugh with them, and chat to them. I can't do the whole hi, how are you, where you from, and all that. Like some boys, like I got friends who will go on Tinder and just doing well, and they'll do well, and that's them. But they're also not necessarily the ones who will do the best in person. So fair play. I can't fault it. Do you know what I mean? So that's their way to go about it, and this is my way to go about it.
I wish there was a Tinder when I was about like 19, 20, mate.
But then differently, like it's the same thing because like. If I know someone, if I spoke to someone, met someone, when I was younger, I might have messaged them on Facebook or Instagram or something. And the only difference is that I met them before, but ultimately you're doing the same thing because you're texting each other. And that's all you're doing on Tinder or anything else. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's it, innit?
Ultimately, it's the same.
It's a weird one. Yeah, I'm interested by that. I'm gonna have to get someone on who like proper is bang into it. Because it just interests me, like the whole logistics of it. Of just like location. She's alright. Message her, and then suddenly like an hour later, it
works like you got to swipe, so you say yes or no. So you just see their photo, they got a little biography of whatever they choose to share with you, yeah? So whatever their little status is or whatever, you say yes or no. They also have to say yes. If you both say yes on each other,
okay, yeah.
then you can message each other. You can set your radius to say, yeah, as far as you want, yeah? And then it'll pick up whoever, yeah? It'll suggest people to you. And then obviously you got to message them and you got to try and build that something. But my friend says, I got a friend who basically says the best way to do it is that you chat to them and then you try and meet them as soon as possible. Because if you end up 2-3 weeks on there, you'll never meet them ever. Do you know what I mean? You got to meet them
quickly,
as within the next couple of days. Do you know what I mean? You have to meet them up for a drink and then see where it goes from there.
It's wild, mate. I don't know. I don't know what I think of it, like, you know, because I've never. I couldn't like
it's not your thing, like
that, so it's difficult. So on what we were just talking about like conversational skills, do you think like Tinder kills that or
not necessarily?
That?
It gives
just a different way.
I'm gonna accuse the quiet one in the pub table again because maybe, and there's definitely not everyone like that. Some people are dark horses. They might be quiet on the end of that table when all the boys are there,
just watching.
But they all see a girl across the room and they will go and approach them. Yeah, like I've seen that. Like that happens. Yeah, but some of those people on the end of the table might not be the people that are also going to go approach that girl, and that gives them that chance to do that. Do you know what I mean? That comfort of not being face to face and that comfort of thinking about what you say before you say it and those type of things. I can understand why people get down with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you find it difficult to go up to like a group of girls, even though you might only be interested in one of them, like if you find it difficult to approach a group of girls on a night out or whatever, or in a bar, pub, whatever, like I would imagine that's probably a godsend because you can.
It gives you that chance. Do you know what I mean? And that girl has swiped you, so they've already expressed an interest. They've already expressed an interest, so the interest is there. Do you know what I'm saying? So I get it. I can't fault it. Them man can do their thing in it. That's their game. It's nice. That's not my game.
So my missus, she better hold on to me, or I'll be like a Tinder freak. So, like we talked about, like on the last episode, we were talking about, like you said about the youth club, and how you sort of really started making your first tunes and that, and get into it. Like, take me on a bit from there, like from that sort of point, because I think that was where we sort of stopped talking about you, and we went a bit more general and stuff like that.
Okay, well, I think so I'm maybe 16, maybe 17. I've been writing lyrics, but I've never really done a lot with it. I'd done music tech in college, so I'd learned a little bit of production basics, and I'd learned the basics of recording and those type of things, and I'd done that. So now I was like, right, I'm not going to university, that's not for me. So what can I do? So I need to get into so I'm thinking about everyone's applying for unis and that, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. So then I was speaking about I need a studio. Someone said to me one day, come, we went to the youth centre, I began there. Then from that, I knew a couple people who also did music, and had met them either through college or through wherever I met them, yeah. And then so people were doing different types of music. So there was like boys doing like, I knew boys who were well into like garage and grime. I knew boys who were well into drum and bass. I knew boys who were into like rap battling. Then I started doing a radio show in the Millennium Centre. So yeah, was I in college or I just finished college? I would have just come out of college. And I started doing like drum and bass. That's what I started doing, yeah. And I started working for the Millennium Centre, and we were doing drum and bass nights. It was once a week in Newport. I knew these boys. One of them was a cameraman, the other one was an MC, one of them was a producer, and like the cameraman became a DJ real quick. And so the two of them were DJing, and they did a night in Club Evo back. The first time they ever did it was just those two as DJs back to back. And they had a Christmas tree for their flat that was broken. And they put it on the stage, and they called themselves Wonky Tree, yeah, and that was their thing on that night. And then they started doing a night in Newport in some run-down little pub. It was alright. It was called the Ivy Bush, and it was it's a county club now. It's a football pub now, but at the time it was Ivy Bush, and it and they started doing Wonky Wednesdays. It was every Wednesday, and it got a little bit of a traction, and a couple of people would turn out for it, like, and that was my first kind of taste of doing drum and bass nights. But then through that, because we're posting it online and that, there's people messaging going, let me come perform. So Razkid was one of the people who messaged the page and said, let me come perform for you guys. So Razkid, a couple other people come through that I met, then started getting to know people, and then from that then it goes to another club in Newport, then it comes to Cardiff, it starts in Buffalo, and we started doing, it starts as Wonky Wednesdays. By that time we had made Wonky Tree a bit more of a group, so we were kind of like, it was like a collective as opposed to a group, so we were all our own people making our own music in studio, but live we'd turn up, we'd all pass the microphone between us, it was DJs and MCs, and we just, I think there was 4 MCs, 2 DJs, and one of the DJs fluttered between being an MC and a DJ, and like we had a laugh with it, like Razkid was part of it, it was me, it was Crash, it was Jason, we had Rowdy T and Slewy Faru was who the thing was. I was the 7 of us, 6 of us, and then we started doing wherever we could really, we just get our name anywhere really. They turned the event from Wonky Wednesdays, they made Switch Up, which is still running now. Rowdy T takes it over now, and he was doing most of it back then as well. So he runs Switch Up, which is like arguably the biggest and the best drum and bass night in Cardiff now. And strong argument for there. And so that was started as a little night in Newport, and now is in District where Prism used to be, and he runs a big night in there, and he's still where Buffalo's come back now, he's taken over Buffalo again, so he still does all his thing. Then Wonky Tree stopped making as a collective, so Razkid went and be Razkid, and I went and be Ezra, do you know what I mean? And so we've all broke off and done our own things. I think Slewy Faru has gone and he's doing like a production now. I heard some of his beats the other day. Raz was showing me some of his beats last week, and so he's doing all the production stuff, like honing in on it. He sounded sick, like, do you get me? So everyone's just doing their own thing in their own place now, but everyone still knows each other, we all still spud each other when we see, like, it's all love, so we all have a laugh, like, innit? And like, you know, it started from that. Then we moved it to Undertone, so we were doing Undertone, like one time, like it become drum and bass orientated. I don't think it was intentional, just that's what I got in with, and that's where I ended up going, do you know what I mean? And the drum and bass was then where the partying started, really. Like, obviously I'd been to house parties and we'd have a laugh before that, like, but at that point, when it got to drum and bass heavily, that was when partying kind of took over, I guess. And like, I was working, but even my hours weren't very much, and I wasn't making very much money them times, so I was making money from doing raves. So we'd do like if I could go Undertone and not be booked, I would get on that microphone, because whoever is booked as the MC, I knows them now. So I will go on that microphone, and then if I goes on that microphone, then I've got a rider is there for the artist, so then that's my night paid for. I got cans behind the decks that I'm gonna tuck into. So then from there there's an after party, and we're gonna go to the after party, and then everyone's doing this and so it was all it was just long nights. It was long nights for a long time, do you know what I mean? And like, it went on for a few years. That was probably 18 till I was 21. Then how old was I when lockdown happened?
Was it 2020?
2020, yeah. So I would have been about 22 when lockdown happened. So I guess them times, by the time just before lockdown, by them times, it was a bit darker for me. I wasn't in such a nicer headspace. So like, things were taking its toll on me, and all the partying was taking its toll, so I wasn't...
Catches up with you though.
Yeah, it caught up with me at that time, so I was on a bit of a darker path at that point. And then the music, alongside all of this, the actual music is almost non-existent. Like, so I write bars, and I'll go to a rave and spray my bar, but the music creation is almost non-existent. And like, I'll go studio here and there on an odd occasion, but like, I'm not going studio like that. In my head, I'm a raver, and I'll spit drum and bass. I'm a raver, and that's where all I need. I don't care about red tech. And then I got friends who are outside of the rave side of it, doing rap music, going to me, listen, you fucking good, bruv. Write the fucking tune. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, and I just couldn't see that. So then lockdown happens, or just before lockdown happened, 2020, I'm like, right, I've fallen behind. I was in a bad headspace. I was like, I need to break out of all of this, yeah, and fucking sort it out. So I started working on a project, but it was supposed to be out by like the June, and then lockdown happened and delayed everything. So it come out in the November of 2020. Was the first project that I put out. It's called Airstripe, and that was my first kind of double down on, do you know what, I need to make music. Yeah, I didn't know what it looked like, I didn't know what it sounded like, I just needed to make something. And I knew these other artists around me who were sick, and I wanted to get them on songs. So that's quite a collab EP. Like every song has someone on there. And then the second one I did was Smoking Kills, which was intentionally looking back on the past 4 years prior to that, of like, and the Smoking Kills is like, is a joke because it's saying I rap and I go smoke, yeah, and I'm good at rapping, but then it's also saying, fucking hell, I've been partying, and the premise was the introduction to partying was smoking. Yeah, the first thing I did before I drank or before was smoke. Yeah, so that was my introduction to going down, doing things that take a toll on your body. Yeah, so and I guess I'm talking about drugs as well. Directly. So if you listen through that project, it's very coherent and it's telling the story from start to finish. Yeah, but it's very dark, and it's intentionally very dark, and it's telling where my headspace was at that time. And at the time that I released it, I was kind of not in the same place, but I needed to say it. Do you know what I mean? So I put that out, and then so that was 2 years in a trot, and then third year was last year, 22. 2021, 22. Then I did Booster EP, which is a much happier vibe and a kind of looking at things differently. Do you know what I mean? A kind of balancing that previous where I still do go out and have fun and and then balancing this new perception of let's work hard to do something better. Do you know what I mean? I try to balance them both onto this project of something just a bit poppier and try and get a couple bangers out there. Going forward, I've got an idea of what I want to do. I'm not going to say it, but I know what I'm looking to do by the end of this year, and it's different. So yeah, just keep now. If I can do something, bang them out now. But like 2020 was the year that I said, fuck, I've just fucked them out for too much. Do you know what I mean? At this point now in the rave scene, like people don't really book me for raves no more because I was getting leery and I was all wreck up and I was making a fool out of me and everyone else and just starting on people or just drunkenly on the mic, like I don't sound good no more because I'm just wrecked. Do you know what I mean? Them type of things, like I just spiraled. Do you know what I mean?
Was that the point, or was there a specific night or moment?
Nah, there was multiple.
Just, like,
there was multiple
but like, instances.
It doesn't matter how many times I'd go, oh, that wasn't good, or thought I fucking shouldn't do that again.
Still be out.
Off I go. Like, do you know what I mean? Off I go. So it didn't matter that them things happened. It was more about and do you know what? Yeah, there was people around me who were really drilling me. Yeah, they were really giving it to me and really telling me right from wrong and right. And like the more I get told, the more I'm like, fuck you, but who are you speaking to? Yeah, I'll do whatever that is, I'll do it. Yeah. So like when you asked me about crazy nights at the start of this, for which one do I even talk about? Do you know what I mean? Cause some of them, because I also didn't want to tell a story about me being mad. Yeah, like there's some stories where I've done things at parties I shouldn't have done. Like, do you know what I mean? And like I think it's one of those ones where people telling me didn't help. You got to come to your own.
Yeah, you got to find yourself.
So
people tell you just almost dig your heels in.
It was a bit like that, and then from that it became, do you know what? Let me show you then. And then that's the wrong reason as well. The music I was creating wasn't that good because it was almost like me prove to you. Yeah, so it wasn't coming from the right place. So then once I decided, right, I'm gonna do it. Then it's like coming from the right place, it come good, do you know what I mean? And it sounded better. Yeah.
Were those people who were telling you to do it previously pleased that you, once you got it, once you started working and dishing them out?
I'd like to say yeah, I don't know. They're pleased now.
Yeah.
They're pleased now. They still they're pleased now. I don't know at that time how they felt, because it doesn't mean just because I did it and I put a project out in 2020 doesn't mean I was going to do one the following year
of course,
or have done 3 since then. So I don't know how they felt at that time, but now that I've shown that I was and I have come
consistent.
Yeah, now they're pleased for me. You know, ultimately, like I'm good, bro. Like not even cockily. Like I know I'm good, and I've always known I'm good, and I people around me who also make music recognise my music capability and like I'm a good lyric writer. Like when you tell me to write a song about something and I can write about exactly that and I can word it well. Do you know what I mean? And so is something that, like, for people who also write lyrics and were around me, who are my friends, are like you're good. Like, there's people out here doing like shit and they're doing well for themselves. So like, you're actually good, but like, go and do something good. Like, do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, yeah. Now I'm just trying to find my sound.
So when you look back on like lockdown, so you said it was a bit of a dark time, but it also seems like that was the start of you consistently putting projects out as well around that time. Did lockdown help you or hinder you?
Hindered me, because I was motivated until lockdown. 2020, the start of that year, January, I was motivated.
So even before all that shit kicked off,
so I wasn't in a good place and I wasn't happy, but I was pretending to be, and I was trying to be motivated, and I was in the studio working with Minas at the time. And so when I'd been working with Minas, I'd put out 2 songs like years before that, and then gone back to Minas and was like, right, let's do it. And then I think Minas then wasn't in Cardiff because it was lockdown, so I couldn't go to the studio. Now I'm just sat in my yard drinking heavily, probably more heavily than, at least when I was partying, I was in a party.
Yeah.
It weren't like day.
Just in your house.
No, I'm just in my house all day on. Like, if I'm awake, I was drinking. Like, I'm just on lockdown. I weren't working at the time. I didn't have a job. Like, so I weren't doing nothing with myself. Like, I didn't have really any money, and like, I just think it was a bit wild. And then,
especially because we were talking just before we went on live, before we started recording, like, and you're like me, you know, 1 meal a day guy, like, and if you drink constantly and eat as little as what I do, it's like. And then
you know, I think I come out of lockdown now, like, I've reached lockdown by the end of it. Like, we went in March, probably we're still in it like end of May, I think. But by after 2 months, I've done like 8 weeks or something. By that point, I'm like, oh, fuck this, man. So I was like out and about anyway. The party started popping off, and I was in the circuit. People had texted my phone saying, "Come, there's a party tonight." Do you know what I mean? So we ended up on the circuit anyway, and it was just weird. Like, them parties were weird, bruv. Like, the vibes were just off. Like, like we were trying to bring back, like, then the music venues opened back up, and people were trying to kick off music events again. But there's plenty of people that aren't going to music events because they haven't been for so long, and like,
people's habits changed, didn't they?
Yeah, their habits have changed, and now they're comfortable being at home.
Yeah,
where they might not have been before.
Drinking at home as well. Like, you look at how many pubs are closing.
Yeah,
look around Cardiff, it's everywhere since lockdown. It's just pubs closing and closing, and it's sad to see, man. Because
and even that is partly lockdown. Part of that is Brexit, where Wetherspoons is the cheapest, bruv. Yeah, he was all for Brexit, the guy who runs Tim Martin, he was all for it, he said he would smash it, he had all his plans in place, he wanted no deal, he was in place, so as soon as Brexit happened, his pub was the cheapest, like, undoubtedly. Now his prices are rising, in Wetherspoons, but when Wetherspoons is that cheap, how can you justify going to another pub? Like really, like,
especially like now when everything else is so expensive, like petrol and
that's what I'm saying, but
food and electric, and it's just,
you know, there's partly lockdown, there's partly the results of lockdown that other businesses, bigger business, was able to deal with that. Smaller local businesses, they had to put their prices up to make some money, do you know what I mean? And like, people were struggling, man, you know. I think everyone was struggling. I don't think I was alone in struggling at that time.
Yeah, it was a brutal time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and even for Minas, like, them times that I was on to Minas, and like, Minas wasn't either which way about it, really. Like, if I had to have, then he's going to do it, but he'd rather not have to because he's in West Wales and he's not really here, and do you know what I mean? So it's like, it was like I was on to him, like, so that project come out then, and like, everyone was on their own little journeys with that, so no one knew what that looked like, do you know what I'm saying? And what happens next? Where do we go from here? Like, everyone's on their own little journeys, but so then now I feel like we're years later, and there's been a year where everyone's
just
sunk back into place.
Normal, like,
their normal is different now. Their normal is not the same as what it was. My normal's not the same as what it was. Do you know what I mean?
Habits have changed big time, and I think it's tricky in it because once those habits change, it's rare that they go back to what they were.
Never.
So like,
but I tell you what I like though is my peoples haven't changed.
Yeah,
my peoples are still about, and I think that's important. I think some people might have lost their peoples, for whatever reason.
Yeah, definitely.
And my peoples are still the same, so I'm privileged in that sense. You know what I mean? My friends are still my friends. Like, we're still.
I think a lot of people lost contact with people, didn't they, over that sort of 18 months or whatever. Like,
and there was a lot of lockdown relationships as well, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people got with girls and then broke up, and then
that was it. When you had a lot of people who had maybe been going out together for like a month or a couple of weeks or whatever, and they had a choice to make, didn't they? It's like, right, we either don't see each other or we got to live together. Yeah. And I think a lot of them chose, go on, we'll live together.
Then, even if you've been with someone for 3 months, like that's probably a bit too long to be moving in together. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly
so you know, you might be comfortable enough to move in together, but are you really supposed to be moving in together? No. Probably not. Yeah.
But it speeds up the relationship, doesn't it? So like you've got like you might have been together like 6 months in lockdown, but it feels like you've been together for fucking 3 years.
Because it's not even like living together, because you haven't even got up and gone to work now.
No.
Yeah, you're working from home, or you're not working at all. Do you know what I mean? Because your job doesn't allow for that. Yeah. So now you are with each other 24/7. Yeah. Do you know? I was like, it was crazy. And if if that's your wife and you've been together for 20 years, then I can understand why that's not so weird. Yeah. But if you've been together for 3 months and now this person is part of your life that way, like,
it's weird, mate, isn't it?
Like, I wasn't in that situation, and I think it would have done my nutting. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Put it this way, right? Like I said, I've been with my missus 20 years now, right? But we had to adjust because we had to go, like, suddenly we was together all the time. Yeah. And all our kids were all in the house. And then everyone so suddenly that house becomes real small, mate.
Yeah.
3 teenagers, a dog, and me and my missus, and there's nowhere to go for your own space. No. And we've only got one toilet, mate. That was the thing which done my nutting, because all of a sudden it was like, I want to go to the toilet, I want to go shower or whatever, and it's like one of them's in there, and it's just those little things they start building up. And like, we were lucky, I suppose. We navigated it, we all used to each other, but to a certain extent. But it was still an adjustment was needed big time. And I gotta say that I know 2 people like this, these people who I'm friends with, they're still together. They literally got together like a week before lockdown. They went on their first date like before that first lockdown, and they were like, right, what are we gonna do? And they were like, well, the first date went really well. We went home together and whatever, so
we'll try it.
Well, give it a go. And they're still going strong. Like, I reckon that lockdown was difficult though. I don't care what they say. But do your natting, mate. But it's like
for everyone. I think you take people out of their comfort. Like, you're breaking habits that people have had maybe for years. Yeah, so they might go down to the pub on Friday.
It's like the whole procedure of meeting someone, isn't it?
Yeah, like they might like old people, for example. Yeah, they might just go to church on a Sunday or something. Do you know what I mean? And that's now how they can't do that. Yeah, they might go to the coffee shop every morning. They go and sit in a coffee shop, and they know that there's another lady who comes in every morning, and they're gonna sit and have a chat together. And now they're not having that chat now. Do you know what I'm saying? And like them type of things, like, they affect people. Like, just that once a week conversation makes a difference. Do you know what I mean? Like,
or like guys who go to the bookies and then they like chuck a couple of pence on horses.
Like, I was thinking about like
go in the pub.
Exactly. Like my grandpa, like, he's never been to Tesco so many times in a week.
Yeah,
he just wants to get out of the house. Yeah, he's never been to Tesco so many times in a week. Like, and it's like one of them ones where it's like, if that's where I can go, see me there. Then, do you know what I mean? Yeah, standard. Like, people are on that.
What's you mentioned battle rapping. Just in passing then, and I know, like, in the first one we talked about, because we both know T-Rev, and I know he did a bit of battle rapping before. Like, is that something you ever done? Because it seems like, from like the way you are, like, you're quite witty and you're quite quick and you have a bit of attention and that. Yeah. You seem like you do, and you're good at writing lyrics. Yeah. So it seems like it would be the perfect thing for you.
When I was younger, if it had been, I wrote bars against someone I've put on my Facebook before, and we had a little clash over Facebook. I've done that, and that was one of the first things I ever put out, and it went good. I had loads of views on there, loads of people liked it, commenting, like, do you get me? It was good, and like, big up him, like, he's alright. Yeah, like, I don't got no qualms with him really, and I didn't at the time, innit? Yeah, I knew him. He also went to the youth centre. We both made music. Yeah, and like, he was putting out video, and like, he was getting a bit of traction. I didn't like it. I was a bit jealous of it, like, so I said to him, like, but he was my mate. I was in school with him and everything, so like, we'd stand there, like, rapping bars back and forth, like, back to back, and like, not at each other, just bars we'd written or whatever, and just he was better. And like, loads of boys in the youth centre would write bars, so we'd all just taking the turns on a beat. And then one day I just said, I'm gonna clash you, like, innit? And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, watch me. Yeah, I'll put a video out. And like, yeah. So I said I'd done it then. I went home, wrote some bars, made a video, put a video on Facebook then. It was nothing serious, and it's not there no more. Like, you can't see the video no more. But we done it. Like, he's a good kid. Like, do you get me? And he responded. He was like, that's funny. Like, he's like, do you get me? Yeah, it was alright. But like, in terms of performing and doing like a cappella,
like
no beat,
battle rap.
Nah, I never done that. I think I would have been. I would have been more likely to have clash on beat. If someone had said to me to do an on beat clash, I would have been more likely to do it.
Yeah.
I used to go to the events. I'd go and watch. Like, I found it hilarious. Yeah, I was into it, but like, it wasn't that I didn't think I could do well, or I just didn't
fancy it.
It just wasn't up my street. Like,
It's interesting, though. Because it seems like.
But at the same time,
like all the pieces fit.
Yeah, but on the same time, if it was on beat and someone said to me, "Look, let's do an on beat. We're gonna put you against him," right? So I might have done it.
Yeah,
like I might have done it. Yeah, but I also.
So it's the a cappella thing which you didn't really fancy then.
Partly because like people have sent diss tracks at me when I was younger, and I didn't answer for a list of reasons. So maybe I wasn't on it. I don't really know. It just never occurred to me to be something that I wanted to do. Whereas you give me a drum and bass and people raving on that mic without even being asked to.
Yeah,
so I'll put myself there, do you know what I mean? Like, that was my attitude them times. These days, like, I go to a rave, like, see MC and just enjoy the MC. I don't feel the need. Like, it's part of getting that attention out of my system. Part of that need for attention seeking is watching me on that microphone then, I got this, and that's something that I don't have that hunger anymore that I had at them times. Do you know, I kind of wish them times I wasn't into all the partying and that I put the music out that I could have put out. Because the hunger that I had them times, if I hadn't put that into drum and bass raving and I'd put that into the studio, like where it started when I went to the youth centre the first time, if that hunger carried on there and hadn't been taken away to this other thing, that's because I was easily led. That's where that came from.
Is it?
Yeah, part of attention seeking, isn't it? Yeah, I was easily led to a point that if my friends tell me that this is what I can do, then I'm going to go and do it. Do you know what I mean? But actually, I could equally have done this thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like it, mate. It's interesting, but then, like, we talked a little bit at the end of the last one, like, about if you got any regrets and stuff, and we sort of talking about, like, if you go back and change stuff because you regret it, so, like, if you had the ability to go back and change this,
I wouldn't go back and
makes
change
you a different person.
Yeah, and I wouldn't go back and change it. I regret it to the point that I know what could have happened.
You know you could have done it differently.
Yeah. But like, I don't regret it to the point that
if you could change it, you wouldn't, because then it makes you a different person.
And I weren't very happy. So, and I weren't very happy, even when I was young. Yeah, so as much as I smile, bubble, joke, laugh, party, have fun, I wasn't very happy. So the music that I was writing wasn't reflecting a very happy person. And so a lot of the earlier stuff are very deep and sad. And like a lot of them I've taken down now, because they were very deep and sad. And like, they weren't reflective of who I am as a character. They were reflective of how I felt inside, like, which is wild to say even, but like, it was two different people, and then like, and very much I am animated. Naturally as a person, I'm animated, and so you didn't see that animation in my music. You might see now that I'm in a better place in life. Now I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more mature, so you might see that in my music more often. Whereas them times, if I'd put that hunger there, you're more likely to have seen that, which might not have been good. Do you know what I mean? It might have been better to write a drum and bass, but I have a laugh. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, strong. I said this to there's two boys from Newport. They're young, 18, 19. I think they're 18. And like they do things together. They're both good, real good, but they don't have that thing what I had. They're just bars. They just got bars. They're hard. And like, I'll big them up in it. They come, they play everywhere. Like, they're good, they're hungry. And I said to them, like, just use that hunger and just keep going. Like, because they're hard, bruv. Like, them two, they're good. That's vision and truth. Big them up, man. They're big, bruv. And they'll go and do good things as well. Do you know what I mean? Because they're young, they haven't got involved in all the raving and the party, and they don't care for it. They just got bars and music, and that's what they want. And they're hungry for it. And watch them now. When their music matures, you watch them in 2-3 years now.
No distractions.
Just once their music matures, it will be good. If they stick at it, their music will mature and it will be good. I'm not into the whole. They're not trying to be nothing and not either. It's not so poppy. They're not trying to be poppy with it. They just got bars, bruv.
I like that. I'll keep a lookout for that. I'll try and get them in, no doubt, mate. I'm always looking for people to get in, So, What was I was going to ask you something. I forgot what it was, man. Which is always good. My memory, man. So like, do you So you mentioned like you done when I asked you that question right at the start, and you said you didn't want to say anything about like you specifically on a mad night out or things that you done or whatever. Like, obviously you spent a couple of years like out all night a lot.
Yeah.
What was some of the more entertaining things which you've done? Don't have to say them all, like don't.
Just some of the more entertaining things I've done.
Just to get a feel of like
who I was.
Where you were.
I remember when I was younger, I was well into like crowd surfing and stuff like that. Because when my going out began young, right? But it didn't begin with partying and going to raves and stuff. It began with going to rock events. Yeah, so when I was in school, like 13, we could get into rock nights. Yeah, we could go to big gigs in CIA and Students' Union, but we couldn't go to a club, a club night or into a pub or nothing. So I was a skater. Yeah, I was into skateboarding them times. So a lot of my friends were into like pop punk music and punk and hardcore and some of that screaming stuff. Like they were into all that. Yeah, so me being easily led, I'm like, well, let's go then. Yeah, so off we go. So we used to go Bristol, like we go anywhere. Like only 13, 14, like we were about. So in them environments, crowd surf is normal. Yeah,
of course.
But in rap, it's not really normal. Like I remember being in Club Evo back. I'm swinging off the fucking lighting rig. Yeah, I've like crowd surfed at a gig where like crowd surfing wasn't supposed to really run. Yeah. And I've gone up on the stage and Club Evo back upstairs. I've jumped onto the crowd, and like people have caught me just out of force. I forced them to. Like I've jumped on them. Yeah, so they have to, or they're gonna get squashed. And they hold me up. And I grabbed up onto the lighting rig. I must have been 16, if that. Pulling myself up on a lighting rig like I doing pull-ups. There's people below me. I'm just kicking them in the heads like just Larry, just loud. Wasn't drunk like proper sober, like, you know what I mean? Just generally just
energy and
just energy to throw around the place. Like, That was when I was 16, and then you could imagine as you get older, you get a bit braver and things get a bit. Yeah, that was where it started. And
introducing other things. And
you introduce other things. Like, yeah, there's people climbing on roofs at house parties and jumping off them, and do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like some of the parties I've been to are like Jackass.
Yeah, I was going to say like the Jackass and
like
Dirty
that.
Sanchez
generation. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah,
it's that kind of, and like we grew up watching all them.
Skating and stuff like that as well. It all kind of goes in together, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think like I've been to parties where it's like that. People ripping off the wallpaper, drawing on the walls. Yeah, like we were at a friend's house before. He lived with his mum. He used to full parties all the time. His house would always get trashed, and she'd come back. You had a party again? No. Yeah, they got markers, and on the inside of the cupboards in the kitchen, we had a party, so you wouldn't notice. On the ceiling in her bedroom, so when she was laying in bed, they stood up on her bed, we had a party. Yeah, they just wrote it in loads of places where you'd have to open something, and then you'd see it. You wouldn't see it straight away. You wouldn't look in the room. You'd look in his mum's room, and go, oh, it's tidy in here. On the ceiling, it says we had a party. They do all things like that. People
busted that, didn't you?
You can't deny that one.
Nah, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, I've been to parties where it's been ruthless like that. My friend, they were playing you get drunk, you play punch. Starts in the arms, then it gets a bit harder, then they start hitting each other properly. My friends, they're friends, they like each other. Bam. Broke his ribs, he's in a party like that. Oh, his ribs were all broken. He had broken ribs for the next 6 months or something. Like, do you get me?
Broken ribs hurt as well.
Yeah, it lasts a while as well.
Nasty, man. Yeah. I've remembered what I was going to ask you. So you said like some people dissed you and that, and you didn't respond.
No.
Why didn't you respond? Or why did you choose not to? Because you clearly got the lyrical ability.
I nearly said something and it would have kicked it all back up. I'm glad I didn't. Do you know what? I just at the time, I just thought, I'm not even entertaining you.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I just thought, why would I entertain that for? Yeah, like, I didn't think it was very good. In all honesty, I didn't think it was good. And I think if I thought I was going to get something out of it, or if I thought it was good, but they were 3 people. One of them wasn't very well known. One of them is better known now. He had done a lot before that, but he's done better for himself now.
Yeah.
And the other one was pretty well known and had done quite a lot. And they come together and made a collective send. My name got mentioned by one of the ones who's my friend, and he was the better one of the three of them.
Yeah.
And he had done the most, and he was doing the best for himself, and he's my friend.
Yeah.
And he comes to raves with us and MCs at a rave. He was writing names there that he wasn't really trying to start anything with.
Yeah.
But because he thought we'd get involved and entertain it and and it would be a good little, he was only trying to have a laugh. He didn't mean nothing by it. The other two I didn't know so well. They didn't mention me. It wasn't an attack. At me, do you
like
know
a
what I mean?
personal
Nah,
thing.
it wasn't. And also the other two, one of them now I don't mind so much, but at the time wasn't fussed on either of them. Didn't care for them. Yeah, didn't want to entertain them. Didn't want nothing to do with them. Didn't want to put my name anywhere near that shit. Yeah. Also, because they named so many people, at the time there was a healthy little. At the time there was a proper healthy little scene of people clashing each other. Like it was just going around a lot. I don't know why. Yeah, and they were kicking it back up again, and so the other people that they named, it was way more personal with, and so those people were guaranteed to respond. It was discussed, so I knew them lot were getting involved. So what am I getting involved for? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like you're sending for me, and like I don't care, but yeah, I don't care because actually in a rave you're never gonna hold it down.
No.
Yeah, did you know the other two? Like the one who's my friend was good. Yeah, he was the only one who used my name personally. The other one was naming Wonky Tree as a whole and did quite a lot about Wonky Tree, but he doesn't know any of us.
Yeah.
So how do you know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because you don't know us, do you know what I mean? You're just trying to, we've got a little buzz around us, and some of the other boys in Wonky Tree, they were going to respond or whatever. They wrote responses, and they just didn't actually release them. They just sent them to the boys. In fact, furthermore, the boy who named Wonky Tree, one of the boys in Wonky Tree, went to the studio, recorded it, and invited the boy who named Wonky Tree to the studio. So recorded a diss about this boy to his face, and just dissed the three of them in the studio, and then was like, right, so I don't need to record that because you just heard it all, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was like, it was dealt with in other ways. It wasn't for me to be sending.
Yeah.
Because what I'm gonna go pay for studio now, then pay for the video, then upload it on my channel to represent. Nah, man. There's more important things for me to be paying for. Do you know what I mean? I got a night out next week. Do you know what I'm saying? Like them times, I just wasn't interested in all that.
It's interesting, like when you break it all down like that. It's like, why would you?
Why would you? Do you know what I mean? And really, the opinion was my opinion. It wasn't necessarily shared opinion. I think part of what we said about being comfortable in what I think and being me is that I quite comfortably can say my opinion and just say that's what it is for me. You lot do what you want to do, innit? But fuck this, it's not for me. And so it wasn't. People thought I would like. It was suggested that I was being a bit of a pussy about it or whatever, and I was like they didn't, like now they get it. Yeah, at the time it wasn't necessarily understood what I was coming from. Yeah, but I think part of that comes from I didn't have the need to be the bad boy.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? I think them lot were trying to be bad boys who were sending for us. Yeah, and they wanted to show, oh, we'll bully anyone. Yeah, you bully me, bruv. Not in any, like, I hasn't bullied. I don't even feel no type of way about it. So if that's the best you got, then you're wet anyway. Do you know, like I didn't care. Like, do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like that. So I think whereas other boys, they didn't like that their names were being mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were people.
I can understand like why people don't like it if they get their names mentioned and that. But I
they
can
don't
also
like it.
understand,
There's like an ego thing that says, "What? Talk about me? Never that." Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about me. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. For me, it was just
likes
free.
attention.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just free
Like-
promo, innit? I didn't care. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna mention their names and give it to
them.
them, though. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever recorded a diss to anyone?
Yeah, I did the one on Facebook, and I've done the one on Facebook, and I never record, and I've recorded music where it's kind of sending shots, but it's kind of indirect.
Yeah.
Not necessarily named anyone. I wouldn't now either. The route I'm trying to go down in music. When I was younger, I definitely had someone sent for me on more of a serious one, then we would have gone there. If there was a genuine problem, like there's been times where there's been other MCs that I've had run-ins with for whatever reason.
My next question was going to be like, have you ever sort of fallen out?
Yeah,
with
fallen out with people.
proper?
And those, like, there's been times where I thought, I'm not going to send something, I'm going to write this. And then if he is, I'm ready then. So if he sends something very quick, I can respond because it's already there. Do you know what I mean? I've done that, trying to cover myself in case that ever happens, but it never did. And to be honest with you, anyone that I had a little funny 5 minutes with was just a funny 5 minutes, but we're friends again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel no type of way with no one, do you know what I mean? Especially now I'm older. I don't care enough. I don't care enough. Yeah. So if you honestly don't care, then how can it upset you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
man.
it's very much, now that I'm older, I just want to make my music and stay within my little bubble. There are boys that I have a lot of love for. There's boys that I don't care so much about, and there are boys that I have a lot of love for, but there's a bit of a friction. It's a love-hate relationship. I have relationships with everyone differently. Do you know what I mean? And we just deal with it as it comes. You know what I'm saying? Like, generally, I've got love for everyone. Really, I think if you're doing your thing, and you're good at what you do, and you're passionate about what you do, then do your thing, innit? Your thing might not be my thing.
Yeah.
I might not listen to it and like it, but I like that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I rate that you're doing it. And so people, I'm someone who gets that about me as well. You might not like my thing. My thing might not be your thing, but you gotta respect that I'm doing it. And
Respect the hustle.
yeah, and the other thing is that you can't say I'm shit.
Yeah.
Like that's been from 2020 when I started making music. I was like, right, what do I want from this? I was like, right, I need to I understood at that time, not everyone's gonna like it. So what I need to know then is that they might not like it, but it's not shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because it's not for you,
Yeah,
doesn't
don't
mean
make
it's
it
not
shit,
good. Yeah, and so I've always since then tried to make music that isn't shit. It's just not for them. Yeah, it sounds good. It's recorded well. It's high value production. It's done good. Do you know what I mean? And then you can't say shit. Whereas if it's, someone can be really good, but if their quality isn't good,
yeah,
then it sounds shit, and that makes it shit. Do you know what I mean? And they actually might be really good. They might be a really good writer.
Yeah, do you know, funny you should say that. I was looking at my YouTube channel the other day, and I got some quite big names on there, like some mad football guests and that from back in the day.
Yeah, I had a little look through.
And like, unfortunately, some of them, because they were live, some of them like the internet connection dropped on the guest and stuff, and I'm gutted, like, because they were really good.
Because they were good, like,
interviews, good chats, good, because they were stuff that you wouldn't get elsewhere because they were live, so it was people asking questions
real,
and
like,
we was asking questions. So it's different shit to what you get on Sky or BBC or whatever, like, and so I get a bit gutted about that now, but I'm hoping to get some of them in here soon.
Back again, like, that's
get
it,
in
innit?
person,
I think people don't. How do I word it? The people that have come out of nowhere with high production value do better than the people who started poor quality and built to good quality.
Yeah, 100%.
And that person who started with poor quality might be better than the person who comes straight in with high production value.
Yeah.
But because that person started there as an audience member, people
You
just
automatically gravitate.
they just think that they're better because
Yeah.
it looks better, because it sounds better, because it
100%.
And actually this person might be more talented.
It's just they've
But
been
talent doesn't
grinding
equate.
and trying to. They got to build it up themselves, and I think there's like for most people, isn't it? Whether it's music, podcasts, YouTube, TikTok creations, it's funding, because if people can fund the high production value or whatever, then like you say, you've got a head start, because like the example I always use is say like I'm doing a show with like Rodri or something, or when we done like we had Emil Heskey on or something, I don't know, whoever, like, or whoever really, like I had Mighty Mouse from UFC and that, like a proper legend, and I interviewed him, and it's like, if you're scrolling through clips, right, and you've got me and him on a Zoom call, the conversation could be amazing, but that clip of like 5 minutes, you might scroll through it because it's a Zoom call. But if you scroll through and you've seen me and him probably even talking in your for 5 minutes, you're more likely to stop and go, fucking hell, that's Simon, he's talking to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a natural thing, and it's just so, like, for me, I built up a lot of what, like, the following I got on Facebook and YouTube, which I built that up in lockdown when people couldn't go anywhere, and I was like, right, I'm going to bang out like 3-4 shows a week on different subjects, and it worked for me. And then now I'm finding it difficult. It's a bit of a struggle, like, because there's other things out who've got a higher production value, and so I've got to kind of build that back up, and I've got fucking money all the time, mate. But it is what it is. What I was going to ask you is, out of the projects which you've done, which one did you get the the biggest reaction to in terms of not necessarily from just the, you know, like listening public or whatever, but from your peers, like from other artists?
Probably Smoking Kills. Probably Smoking Kills.
I was hoping you were going to say that, because that's to me that's like a really well, I say that, I think all the stuff which I've heard of yours, I think is quite personal anyway. But that one specifically is like quite a journey, innit? I
think Smoking Kills did the best for me. I think other artists were coming out and saying, "Yo, you're hard." I got onto 2 different projects as a result, and yeah, like the industry was saying, "Yo, look at Ezra."
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get much radio play, but it wasn't really radio worthy. I didn't, you know, there's certain things that other artists do when they release a project that it didn't do for me, or maybe even I didn't really try to do with it. Yeah, but I think that's going forwards now, like especially the radio. But yeah, sorry, to finish that off, I think Smoking Kills was, and I think it's the one that if you put it on now, some of it's hard to listen to for me, because what that is. However, when I listen to it, if I listen to it, I think that is still hard, because maybe it's because I know what I'm talking about, but it's also because it sounds good. It's because me and Conrad cared about what we were making, and that's not to say that we haven't cared about anything else that we made, but in that moment we really cared, and we knew that it had to. Conrad was a big help with that project, because at that time I was still half in what I was talking about. So I wasn't suddenly this motivated, dedicated writer. Like, yeah, I was very much still involved in a lot of it, and so it was almost like Conrad partly saying to me, "Come, let's get it done," and me going, "Conrad, come on, let's do it." Like, in those moments of clarity. So between the two of us, we held each other down. But Conrad cared about the production and the beats. He cared about the sound, the record. Like, he took care of the technical side, and he cared about it. Do you know what I mean? And like, yeah, he helped me out a lot. And so when you listen to it, it sounds good. Do you know what I mean? And there's like, yeah, it sounds good. And he saw me perform. I performed in Buffalo about last week before. God knows, one or two. Yeah, and this on the 3rd of March, yeah, so maybe 2 weeks ago. So I performed in Buffalo, and Conrad came to the gig, and he doesn't come out very often like that. And he came to the gig, and he said, afterwards, he said to me, you know, like, some of them basses on that thing, he's like, "They sound sick on a project." He's like, "But they're things that you told me." I had this thing at the time about, there's not enough bass, turn the bass up. And you go, "No, trust me, when you put this on loudspeakers, you're going to hear it." And I'm like, "No, I can hear it in the studio here. We got great speakers, and there's not enough bass, turn it up." And he would turn it up, yeah, and he would do it kind of reluctantly. And one of the tunes in particular that I put on in the club had, obviously coming through a big PA system, had really loud bass, and like, for me, I loved that, but he was like, it was too much. He's like, "I stood there and it's too much bass," yeah, and he's like, and
he reminded you,
and like, yeah, he's like sat there assessing it, going, "Right, I'm never gonna do that again." Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because for him, he cares about that, the way it sounds, the technical. Like, yeah, it's important to have someone around you who cares, or you care. Do you know what I mean? It's important that you care about it as well when you're doing those sort of things. Definitely.
What do you think of the music scene at the moment?
I don't think of the music scene. I was thinking about that exact question the other day, and I was thinking about, am I really part of the music scene, or do I just make music and therefore it makes me part of the music scene? At one time, I would have told you that I'm for the scene, and I believe in the scene, and I'm part of the music scene, and that's what I would have said. And part of me still does, yeah. Still, if it exists, and if there is one, then I'm part of it, and I want to be, yeah. And I wish I could be more involved in it. At one time, I was doing radio and turning up to every gig that went on, and really meeting people and going out of my way to speak to artists that I've heard their music and I want to meet them. Yeah? Like, I really cared about that sort of thing and befriending people almost. Now I know those people, and I'm glad I do. And there's people that I'm better friends with than I am others, and it's cool, man. And in terms of, am I part of a music scene? Are we all just people that make music, or are we part of a scene together? I don't know. I honestly don't know, because it depends what a music scene is. And I think as I got older and I thought about this, I think it just is something, but no one can explain what it is, yeah, because it's part of a music scene, the radio shows and the live shows and the studios and is that for it to be a scene, does everyone have to be in tandem and correlation, or can everyone just be doing their own bits, or what does that look like? Do you know what I mean? And for that reason, it's like, I don't know, I am part of a music scene.
Yeah.
I'll just make music, bruv.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like you say, everyone's doing their thing all around.
And not
the
everyone
UK.
supports each other.
No, they don't.
And not everyone supports each other. And so, in fact, very specifically, people don't support each other. And so
I had a conversation, right, with Cullen from the Central Club. Shout out Cullen, by the way, and who's killing it at the moment. And we've had a few conversations, man, about like podcasts and stuff, and like we couldn't understand why, like there was all these podcasts like arguing on like YouTube and stuff and slagging each other off, and we were like, fucking hell, we just didn't get it. Like, so me, him, and Joe, who does Experience Real, which is on hiatus at the moment, like, but he does Jack Shaw's podcast with him, and like we were like, no, let's share guests, like let's push each other to be better and do better, and like if we can help out, send someone each other's way, then do that. Why wouldn't you? Like,
no,
you're literally all from similar areas, similar backgrounds and stuff and whatever. Like, why would you not want to push each other to do better rather than
absolutely. And I think
attack each other? And
I think when I was younger, I looked at radio and I said, fuck, look, I'm a talker, I could talk on radio, I can do that. I thought, radio, I get to meet artists and interview them. The big thing for me, was I was never trying to be a musician or an artist, I just wanted to make music. I was sad, bruv. I just had things to say.
Yeah.
And they're things that I'm not going to bring up in a party or to my friends or to my mum or to my dad, or, do you know what I'm saying? I just got things to say. And so that's where music started, and that's why a lot of the things are sad at the beginning, and they're deep, or they're talking about my perception on life and like all of this, And I just wanted to do that. That wasn't something that I saw myself becoming in the future, Whereas radio, but I was very interested in the music scene, So I was like, radio, that's something I could do, and actually just be me and just love it, like, And at that time, I couldn't understand why people don't want to come to my radio show or send me music, or, do you know what I mean? And when it first started, I had a good little buzz around it. I had all sort of artists come down, like, from all over, from Newport, people from Barry, I had people from the Valleys, I had people from Cardiff, I had people from all over, and like, it was doing well, but it wasn't doing well in the sense that anyone cared about the show. So as soon as they weren't the guest on the show, they ain't gonna share it again, do you know what I'm saying? Or do you know what I'm saying? And I started to notice those sort of things, and I ignored them anyway, and we carry on, and I did it for a few years, do you know what I mean? But I think, and then I got lazy. I fell out of love with it in the end, in all honesty. So it was like, why am I I don't get paid for this, I'm a volunteer, and why am I putting all this time in? You guys don't even care about this, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You don't even care about it. Is it doing something for boosting your career? I don't know. Maybe not. Like, maybe sitting on Radio Cardiff and playing your song isn't the one. Because when people look at it,
it's not doing any harm though, is it?
Exactly that. Like, for me, I saw it as, do you know what, mate? That's a good start. If you can get here, then why can't you get to the BBC? But everyone wants to start at the BBC because that's where they can try and flow from, or whatever. Do you know
that's
what I
where
mean?
I think that's where people think, if I can get on BBC or Sky or ITV or whatever.
It don't happen overnight, bruv.
No.
And they think, I'll go on BBC Wales and that'll be me, I'm good. And like, will you? Will you be?
Doesn't
you get a little one
translate.
You get a little one payment from the PRS, and they might never play a song ever again.
Yeah.
And they might play the next song once, and you might get one song on rotation and get known for that song, and you might never do one that competes with it.
And the thing is, I think it's more even now about like.
And I'm not even just to finish that off. I'm not even slagging off being on BBC Radio. If I could get there, I'd be well happy with myself. I've not had a song played. I've had songs played on BBC Wales, but only from DJs and not from the Radio Wales presenters. So other people have taken my music there and said, check him out, as opposed to Dave
like presenter, picking it up or whatever.
And so I've been played there for those reasons. So like, I'd like a presenter to recognise me, but at the same time, is it going to do that much for me? It would just give me my little ego, which is what everyone's looking for.
It's an ego boost.
Everyone's looking for that little ego boost. They're not looking for actually. There's someone there, like yourself, for example. There's someone there who's trying to have a decent chat with you, sit you down, and have a chat with you, and find out a bit more, and give someone something to watch and listen to, and learn about you. So that it's got more than just the music. Some people don't. They're not interested in them things, and that's the truth of it. Do you know what I mean? And that's why it might take a while before you even convince someone to come down. Yeah, it might be why. Yeah, you know, and it was what might be why people were, when I was doing radio, I'm sure you probably had it, and I'm sure you probably do it, yeah? Like, people would say to me, alright, I'll come, but how much you paying me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I've had them questions, and it's like, nah.
In lockdown, I had someone who I've, up to this point, refused to name, ask me for the best part of $3,000 to do a 20-minute interview, and they had, they wanted, like, an editing thing on it, so if they didn't like it, I couldn't put it out.
Like, yeah.
I was like, if I had $3,000 to just pay out for 20 minutes, do you think I'd be asking you to come on?
Yeah.
Like, you know?
That.
I wasn't impressed with that at all.
No, but then also, there's two sides to that, because $3,000 sounds like a lot, so I'm not going to talk about that specifically. But if, you know, there is a level of, if I've got to come there.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, mate. Like, if I had the funding, and I'm like saying to X, Y, and Z, like, I want you to come down to Cardiff, and I want you to come and do this or whatever, then it's up to me to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
The one thing that I know, when I worked in Millennium Centre, I had the opportunity to pay people for their things, and not for radio shows, but for the other work, some of the other work that I did. I could get people performances, and I could, like, I was sorting the boys out, bruv. And when I say the boys, not everyone I knew, or I didn't know when I booked them, do you know what I mean? Like, I say the boys because they might be my friend now, but they weren't them times, do you know what I mean? They were just people that I respected, that I liked, that I thought, do you know what, they're making good music and they're trying to add, and I'm going to give them my money, bruv. Yeah, and sometimes there was things there that weren't paid, but if I can get you down, let's do it, do you know what I mean? And if you're up for that, do you know, a lot of it as an artist is, are you up for it, right? And if you're up for it, then you'll get it, because people will see it in you. But it does get to a point where you can only do so much stuff for free. Yeah, so
of course, yeah.
Every new artist is expected to perform for free for the first however long. Yeah, there's only, especially when I started.
Bills, mate.
Yeah, especially when I started, like, I did so much for free for so long, in terms of performances. Whereas now, I couldn't really see myself doing a free performance. Like, not really. No. Like, it would very much depend on who was doing it and why I was doing it for free for them. Yeah, because even though you might be my friend and I might like you, I know that you're making money off that event. Yeah. So me doing it for free for you to do you a favour, does you a really big favour, because you could pay me and still make money off that event. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it depends on why and where and how.
Well, like, prime example, I'm trying to. I talked to you about it, I think, when we were stood outside after the last one. Like, I'm trying to get this pilot off the ground for this series, right? And I've got, like, the guests are, like, pretty much booked, and everything's, like, in place, just trying to get that final bit of funding and stuff to do it. And like, so one of the guests for the series is a band up from Liverpool who I know. Like, so if I'm going to get them to come down, like, they would do it for free. I know they would. They said they'll come down on their own dollar, and they'll come and do they'd be playing basically like one song for like a TV show or whatever, like a online show. And it's like, I don't feel comfortable with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the least I can do is chuck them in a hotel, or like pay their travel, or give them some you know, food and drink, and do you know what I mean? Like, but I know so many people who would just happily be like, come down all the way from Liverpool,
there were
play one song, and then as soon as they'd finish, they'd go, oh, nice one, lads, see you later.
I know promoters now who weren't around when I first started, who pay every single artist on their lineup, and they care about it, and they believe in it, and they will not book someone without paying them, no matter how big or small they are. How much they pay them depends on how big or small they are or whatever, but they will get paid even if.
Get something like.
And so.
That's a good thing, that is. I
think, and that wasn't really a thing when I started really going out and trying to get onto live events and stuff. So, like, I'd made maybe like 4 or 5 tunes, and I've started trying to get on bookings, and like even before that, I'd maybe made 2 actual songs with beats. Then I'd have like 2 songs that I'd ripped off YouTube. That were like beats that I'd ripped and downloaded from YouTube, and then I'd do like a poem at the end. Didn't even have a beat, just did it a cappella. And like them times, I was just like, just give me something. Just give me something, I'll go there. Do you know what I mean? And like,
the reluctance.
As soon as there was a space, and it wasn't give me something as in pay me. It was like, just give me a space on the lineup. first let me open it. Like, let me just, and I was hungry like that, and I was trying to get out there like that.
You're just trying to get your opportunity, innit?
Yeah, and I think
get noticed.
I think there is a new type of artist who isn't hungry like that. They don't care about necessarily the live performances. They get there, but they start with the videos. Yeah, and that's where I should have started. These days, your online presence is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that. I understood that you're in the music scene, so I need to know you. And that's what I seen it as. That was my view on it. Was I don't care who knows me, who knows that I make music. I need to know you, and you, because you do radio, this and that, yeah. And that was where I started. You're the DJ, and you're gonna play it, and you're the and so that's how I done it, like, yeah. And maybe I did it backwards, because what I've learned now, and if you're listening to a new artist, if you start with the videos and picking up traction there, them are gonna holler you.
Yeah, they'll come to you anyway.
And that's what I didn't understand. I went to them first of all, without anything to show for it. Do you know what I mean? Without anything to show them, without just, I had a microphone and a lyric and I would spray it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, to finish, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. So the first one is, like, what's your plan now for the rest of this year? So we're, March 2023. What's your plan?
My
for the rest
plan
of the year
is,
in terms of where you want to take you.
Oh, excuse me, yawning. My plan is get back in the studio. I haven't made a song for a little while. I've made some songs this year, but I haven't really been there grafting like that. So my plan is get back in the studio and do that. And then from there, see where that takes me. I'm going to try and bust out some singles this year. I might do a project at the end of the year to carry on my trend. I don't feel massively up for it. I'm quite happy to do a couple singles for a bit and run the singles. And then come back to a project maybe at the end of next year, after a little year and a half running singles. I think that would do me some good. But I may do a project just to follow suit. I'm just going to see, depends how the studio goes.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know what it'll look like until I get into studio, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I used to be someone who woke up in the morning and wrote bars, and before I went to bed, I wrote bars, and that was my daily, like, I wrote. And like these days, I'm not like that no more. And maybe it's a part of not having hunger like that. And it's also about being in a creative environment. Like, I don't find my home very creative. So I wait until I'm in the studio, and whatever mood I'm in that day in that studio is exactly what I write, and that's what you hear on the song, and it works for me. It works. I'm good at writing there and then. Some people, they need their own space to write. Like, if someone says,
they need time
they need that. They need that time to put into it, and that's good for them. Yeah, like, if that's how you work, that's not how I work necessarily, unless someone asks me for something specific.
Yeah.
So if someone says to me, I want you to feature on my song, the song is about this, here's the song, you can take me to the studio and I'll write you a good verse. It'll be hearing it, it'll be good. Maybe, sometimes, it would be the best verse I could give you in that moment. However, I can write it in that moment and know that if I go home with that, I'm going to do better again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'd rather, if I'm going to be on your song, like, I'd rather, if I need to take it home, I'd rather take it home and work on it, because I'd rather not come through, give you any verse, and then you not feel like it was what you were looking. If you've heard my music and you go out of your way to ask me to be on your song, then I respect that, I appreciate that, and I want to give you the best I can give you,
Yeah, 100%. And then finally, mate, I can't remember if I asked you this before, so if I did,
it was who you want to work with.
No. What's the meaning of life?
Whoa. What's the meaning of life?
To you?
The meaning of life is Ezra, E-Z-R-A-H, just have fun and just fuck around and just smash someone's window or something, just do something stupid, and then you'll regret it when you're older, but you would have done it, and you'll have a story to tell.
Unless you're my kids, don't do that. Don't do that. No, enjoy your life, innit?
Enjoy it, man. Just do something stupid. Just do something at 18 that you know you shouldn't do, and then by the time you're 24, you can look back on it and go, I'm not going to do that again. Learn from that.
Learn from it.
Sometimes the people that don't do those young and get out of their system are the ones that are going to do it when they're older and get in loads of trouble and spend the next 4 years in prison for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very, very true. Guys, Ezra's links to everything's below. Make sure you check out his stuff. Check out Smoking Kills as well. Particularly good. But check out all his stuff and that. And give him a follow. All that good stuff. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel and Spotify, all that. all the stuff in it. Links are below. Nice one. Appreciate it, man.
Wicked. Nice one.
I was struggling, but now I'm the one. I got plans and they need to get done. It's all good, baby. Different with it, so they're different to us. Money motivated, making enough. It's all good, baby. I see you when I'm gaining your trust. In the morning, you ain't